Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head with David and Dale Cross, the real estate lifestyle podcast of Coastal Carolina.
Join us as we share stories from our community, insight into the local lifestyle, and the real scoop on real estate.
From market trends to home design, we dive deep into what it means to live and thrive here.
Discover the state of mind and philosophy of the Lowcountry that enriches life through personal growth, health and wellness, and human connection.
Whether you're a local or thinking of becoming one, we're here to guide you through the ins and outs of living this coastal escape.
Tune in, relax, and enjoy the conversation with Real Talk Hilton Head,
The podcast of Coastal Carolina.
This episode is brought to you by the David Dale team, powered by eXp Realty in Hilton Head.
Today on Real Talk Hilton Head, we're joined by Thomas Dowling from Alliance Global Partners of the Lowcountry, a boutique wealth management firm that helps successful business owners and affluent families make thoughtful decisions with their wealth.
Their mission, to help their clients take care of the ones they love, the causes they care about, and to make a difference in the lives of those around them.
Let's dive in.
Welcome back for the third time to the show, Thomas.
Thank you.
And I'm going to let the audience know. So we've had a little gremlin in here in the studio today. So when I say that, it's because we've had to do this over, 2 or 3 times.
But hey, we're just giving him practice.
Yes, we are.
That's all it is.
I need it.
Or giving us practice.
So we're going to start from the
Yes, let's
beginning.
start from scratch.
And again, we're here to talk about simplifying the complexity and building legacy around the term of wealth management here in the Lowcountry. Because as we talked about before, sometimes wealth management, and we're going to really dive into this, that's different than financial planning, and we'll get into that. But we all want it to be simple. So type 1 if you want it to be simple. Number 2, if you're listening, watching, whatever, and you have questions that come up, write them in the comments. Ask him. Thomas is gladly going to answer. He'll get back to you, and he would love to share everything he knows about all these topics. So
And this is your opportunity to have a wealth manager answer all those questions you've been wanting to ask.
Absolutely, and he's only charging. Well, we won't talk. I'm just kidding.
That comes later.
This is a freebie.
So with that being said, we're going to kind of get back to you and your career. What drew you to your career, and how did you end up here in the Lowcountry to do it and start it here? So let's fire away.
I've always wanted to be in wealth management and finance.
Yeah.
Right. That I knew. But I have an interesting story about all this because I use this as a life lesson for my kids. At the time, I went to New York City to do some research. I was living there, but I went to the 42nd Street Library to do some research before the internet. So you had to actually look at books. Yeah. And I had seen a friend of mine, an acquaintance from college, across the library. And sometimes you just don't feel like talking to someone.
Yes,
you're in the grocery store.
You're ducking in the
Never
aisle.
been there.
Never.
And even though you like the person, you're just not in the mood to talk, right? We're all like that.
Yeah.
Then he saw me. And he came over and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" We talked a little bit. And I said, "Oh, I'm doing some research. I'm trying to get a job in wealth management."
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, he had just gotten a job in wealth management.
Wow.
So we exchanged numbers, and he said, "Give me a call, and I'll try and get you an interview at my firm." And needless to say, he did get me an interview, and from there, I've been in wealth management my entire career. Wow. So I guess the lesson is those times where you don't feel like talking, or you don't feel like going to that event because you just don't feel like it, push yourself, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Happened to
Chance
you the other
meetings,
night,
right? Yep.
Didn't want to go to that event.
Yep.
So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, there was an event that it's 7 o'clock, I was tired.
Yes.
Was just not in the mood to go.
Yes.
But there was something in me that said, just go. And sure enough, it turned out to be so much fun and
Yeah.
just great way to connect with people.
Yep.
And I think that's what's important. You just never know
Yep.
what opportunities it's going to open up for you.
So I try and, when I feel myself getting like that,
Yeah.
I try and fight it and say, nope, remember that story? Why are you in this business? Why is your life the way it is? Well, then do it.
Yeah, and it's so, because I used to talk to Asher, who's over here, our engineer, and I always say to him, I was like, life is always about the people because that's where the opportunities come. You never know where the door is going to come, but it usually comes through a person and some sort of random thing. And that's exactly what happened to you. Happened to me and how I met Dale. Same thing. So
you can't really pick and choose. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to just try and do as much as you can.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about your journey here, though. So you were in New York, and how long did you live there? Most of your life?
Oh yeah, my whole life.
Oh, your whole life. And then what was the catalyst that got you down here?
Work, and I've been studying for a lot of exams. You got to increase your education in this business. And I was running a business, and I was commuting into the city from the suburbs at that time. And at one point, my wife said, "Listen, you're done with all these exams. You've rarely been home. Let's go down to Hilton Head," because we had vacationed here beforehand.
Okay, so you'd already known about it. Okay.
Most people, right? They vacation here. That's how they hear about it. We actually had a condo here that we would come every summer.
Yeah.
And she said, "Look, let's go down to Hilton Head, right? And we'll reconnect, and you can spend 1 week in New York and 3 weeks on Hilton Head." I said, "All right, it sounds like a great idea."
Bad.
No.
That's not a bad
You got
gig
a
right
good wife.
there.
That's great.
She's very smart.
She is. And then 1 year came up to the end of it, and she said, "Hey, we can do 2 years." I said, "Okay, this is great. Let's do it." And then I think about 3/4 of the way through that second year, I was driving to my dad's. My dad lives in Sun City, by the way.
Yeah.
So he moved here just before I did.
Yeah.
And when you're driving and you're not thinking
Yeah.
specifically, but you really are.
Yeah.
So something just popped into my mind, and I called my wife and I said, "Hey, Dina." "Yeah." "Is this permanent?" She said, "Of course. What took you so long?"
Yeah.
So at that point, we made all the
She had the
preparation.
plan the whole time.
She knew it. She just needed
She knew
me.
what she was doing. She just set you up.
You do that to me all the time.
all the
though.
time.
She's always setting me up, and then she's
Or you
waiting for me to
drop
come
hints.
around.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding. You ever see that movie?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
remember the part where she says, "Well, he's the head, but I'm the neck."
Yeah.
And the neck turns the head.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that.
I would love to meet Dina. She sounds like my kind of lady.
She is the better half. There's no doubt about it.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Well, I did want to just ask you about your team. So you have a strong background in finance and customer care. So how do you feel that has shaped your business and what you serve, what you offer folks here in the Lowcountry?
Because it's all about people, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You mentioned before, it's about relationships and people.
Yeah.
So as long as you can take care of the people that are around you, you can provide a lot of value.
Yeah.
So, and then the team that you work with has to have the same philosophy, right? There has to be those values that you have. And with our team, we all work in conjunction. It's all for the client's benefit and the behalf of the client so that we can make a significant impact in their life, right? Yeah. And then the finance, obviously, there's a lot of complexity to finances. As wealth increases, complexity increases,
Absolutely.
right? And I think we might even mention this at some point. We have this philosophy that business owners, which is really who we serve, and affluent families, they're publicly successful but privately stressed.
Yeah.
So people don't see that. There's a lot. You guys run a business. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
It's true.
So if we can create a process and we can create a system where we can reduce that complexity for them and make sure that their entire financial picture works in conjunction with each other, because there's a lot of different steps, that relieves stress. And when you relieve stress, you have a better life. And if you can just get rid of that financial stress, you're going to be much happier in all other aspects of your life.
It's so funny too, because most people are stressed financially on the flip side, right?
Yeah.
And they all think, oh, if my solution is having more money.
Exactly.
Well, ask a lottery winner, right? Like, they
What
have all
happens?
that money and then they don't
don't
have any clue.
Yes.
And so all the stresses that come with it,
Yes.
and then they crumble.
No doubt. No doubt. But if they had someone there to help them with it and guide it that they trust and care, it would make the process a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then that is where the stress would go away and they can really live the life they want.
Yeah.
It is, because
I
it
love
is super complex with taxes and retirement and wealth.
Well, and it's a very similar philosophy to us too. Is we've always felt like ultimately as you're in business, right? I mean, this is what you do for your career, but when you flip it on the head, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm trying to get something for me," which is what a customer, client, you said, no, I'm going to build an experience for that person, and I'm going to add value, as you said. Ultimately, you always get in the end what you're looking for, which is a good client, a client for life.
And I think aside from that, you get to add to them and see the change you make in their lives.
Yeah.
I think that's what we love. I mean, people have been working their whole lives, the majority of people, to come down here, and then we get to be a part of their journey.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's the story.
And that I think is more rewarding.
I agree with you.
You know, and to be able to look back over the years and say, wow, okay, you started here, but look where you are now. You are now, you know.
We believe money is a result. Right?
Yeah. I
It's
like
a
that.
result. It's not the main part. It's the result. If you put in the work,
Okay.
if you create value and provide value, the rest will follow. You don't start at the end, you start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? So going back to the experience, if you can provide that experience, if you can provide that value to the client, to that person who's there,
Yeah.
the rest of it will all work out.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no doubt about it.
Keeping the main thing, which is who you're serving.
Yeah.
So can I
Go
ask
ahead.
a quick
Yeah.
question? So what are the top challenges you see for investors today,
well,
that
it's
they're
all-
facing today?
I mean, so I'll answer that question. Investors is always about what's happening in the market, right? Is it
Right.
too high? Is it too low? And all that. But what we find is that there's a lot of stress or a lot of issues that business owners, because that's a lot of people who we serve, and what we find a big issue with them is, and challenge, is succession planning.
Okay. That's
According to the Exit Planning Institute, 70 to 80% of the people, the business owners, small business owners that want to sell, wind up not selling.
What is the reason behind that?
Yeah.
Because they haven't put all the steps in place beforehand. So they get to a point where now they're ready to go. So let's say, and we'll just throw out any year, because it could be someone who's 60, 50, 80, whatever year it is that you want. They start shortly before that. And now they don't want to put all that extra effort because they're trying to get out at that
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they
Yeah,
want
they
to
pick that up.
Yeah.
leave, but they haven't put all the steps in place beforehand in order to make that valuable to someone else. So then they wind up just because then they can't find a buyer, and then they wind up just letting the business fade out. And we find that a shame, right? Because you've spent your entire life building that business, and just to see it fade out,
Yeah.
you should be able to watch that legacy,
Yep.
right? Move on. And whether that's internally with family, whether that's externally, but we find that that's a big issue with business owners, is they haven't put the succession planning in place.
That's a great point. I honestly would never have thought of that. I think that's...
Are you thinking about making a move to the Lowcountry?
Whether you're searching for the perfect home, or you're exploring vibrant communities on the coast, or dreaming of a new lifestyle, we're here to help.
Contact the David Dale team today and let's make your dream a reality.
So if you're a business owner, you don't have a succession plan, Alliance Global Partners will help you.
Global Alliance.
So I'm sorry. Global
I do it all the time, by the way.
I know.
Just so you know.
I am dyslexic. When we first did our journey home, David told everybody about Daleisms, and that would happen to be one. So I apologize.
There's a lot of Thomisms, by the way. So
No, I love it because one of my favorite authors is Stephen Covey, and he wrote a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and one of the number one habits was begin with the end in mind.
That's
You know,
no doubt.
and I get it though. We get it. We're building. You're building. Everybody's building. So when you're in the middle of building, the last thing you're thinking about is, you know,
Exit.
what am I going to
leave.
do?
You're thinking about how am I going to build this next stage?
Yeah.
You
How do I
know?
get through the first 5 years? Usually, you know,
Exactly.
that's the big mountain you want to climb. You know.
Now just switch that back into what we were talking about before. So you're right, you're building your business. But think about that if you're also worrying about your finances at the same time.
Yeah.
So maybe if you get the stress of the finances out, you can also start paying attention to what's your next step in the business.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was leading me into my next question. How do you reduce that stress for people? So,
And well, we find what I just said, but also it's when people understand that there's a process and that there's a plan, they become less stressed, right? Because then they understand. So we get people that come in, we ask a lot of questions when clients come in, or prospective clients. And they have a lot of questions for us. And then what we find out is and sometimes those are pretty direct questions, right?
Yeah.
Which are great. We love that because we want them to get it out.
Yeah.
But then over time, they have a lot less questions because then they understand that the process is in place, that there's a strategy behind it. We find a lot of people that come to us over the years, they've built this wealth and they have something there and they've done this here and they've done that there, and they just don't feel as if it's all put in place.
Yeah,
You run a business and you want all your departments to work together so that the business runs efficiently and effectively.
That's a good
Well,
analogy.
your finances are the same.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
Right.
So you want to make sure that all parts of your financial picture are working together
Yeah.
so that you feel less stressed. So that oftentimes will reduce the stress. When they understand that there's a process to it, that there's a plan, that there's a structure to it, that helps tremendously.
And that they've got somebody with experience to help them do that. I think that half people probably don't start with wealth management because it is so overwhelming to get all those pieces organized. And
Have you ever read the book The E-Myth
No.
before? Oh, you never read that? It's a
Definitely
fantastic,
recommend
Reader's Digest version. It just talks about the entrepreneurial myth and how typically most entrepreneurs are starting off with some sort of core function technical skill that you have, that you're really good at.
Or you're
You start
passionate
off doing
about,
it, you start getting clients, and then you're doing this technical thing. And very few people sit in the vision stage. That's the entrepreneur. Like, what is this going to look like?
Yeah.
What am I trying to build? And then even fewer get into the management stage, which is the process, systems, everything you're talking about. They just get stuck in technical on the grind, and because they're producing the money. So you're actually basically really helping them be better entrepreneurs and be better business owners, because you're helping them in those two core areas that the vast majority fail in. That's the gist of the book.
Yeah, and that's great. I'm going to read that book because
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that. But it is about reducing some of the other, because look, as a business owner, you also have a family.
Right.
You're trying to take care of, you're trying to run your business, you
Yep.
have friends, you have a lot of things to do. If you can reduce some of those that you are thinking about all the time, it allows more, look, I have a small amount of brain capacity, right? And the more I put in, the more comes out, right? And I'm sure a lot of people like that. So I want to make sure that some of that stuff they can let out so they can let the other stuff in.
Yeah. So does that go into the Fuse wealth management formula and process? Does that kind of, because let's talk about that, because when we read on the website, the Fuse formula and process are designed to integrate every piece of wealth management into one clear strategic path. So let's talk about that formula and how it differs from, say, is this something that's unique? Did you develop this?
It is unique. You won't see many advisors that do this.
Okay.
And we've done a lot of research. I've been in this business 30 plus years, right?
Yeah.
So I've talked to a lot of clients. We know what their biggest concerns are, and they come up with the 5 biggest concerns. Number 1 is making good decisions with their money, right? That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
The second one is minimizing taxes, wealth transfer, wealth protection, charitable giving. So we put this together into what we call the wealth management formula, because we find that the finance industry, in my opinion, has done a horrible job in explaining what wealth managers, financial advisors, investment advisors, there's so many different names out there. They've done a horrible job at explaining what they do. And then oftentimes the advisor themselves don't fully understand it. So we've created what we call the wealth management formula, right? So it's wealth management is investment consulting,
Okay.
plus advanced planning, plus relationship management. Right? The investment consulting is the number 1 concern. So that's why people often will go to a wealth manager. They want their investments managed, right? So that's the investment planning, that's the retirement planning, that's education planning, cash flow, all of that, right?
Yeah.
So that's number 1. But then it's gone beyond that at this point. You can't, in our opinion, you can't just do that, because the complexity and integration in the finances, especially as wealth increases, it's gotten more complex. So the next part is wealth enhancement. Right?
Okay.
Wealth enhancement is minimizing taxes.
Yeah.
It's about how much you keep.
That's what I was about to say. It's
100%.
about what you keep in your pocket.
And it's funny because you
Or
don't
you like.
realize it, and it's everywhere. Like the tax bleed hits you all over the place. Yeah.
So if you can minimize taxes and also increase overall cash flow. Business owners have loans. If we can figure out ways to have a lower interest rate, there's all of that, right?
Yeah.
And then the next one is wealth transfer.
Okay.
So that's making sure your assets are transferred to the ones you love in the most cost-efficient and effective manner.
Okay.
Wealth protection, making sure your assets aren't taken from you unjustly through a frivolous lawsuit, right? You have wealth,
Absolutely.
people hear that, but it's also protecting the family against the death or incapacity of a major breadwinner or caregiver in the family, right? And then the last one, which is number 5, and this varies per family, right? But in general, this is what it is charitable giving. And people are, at certain stages in life, charitably inclined. Some people aren't, right? Some people believe, And there's truth to it that charity starts at home, right?
Yeah.
And then others want to give. So for those that do, we want to make sure that every dollar they give is maximized for the charity, but also for themselves. Why can't you do well or do good for the charity, but also for yourself? Right? So you want to integrate all that because all of that needs to work in conjunction together.
Yeah.
And that's what the wealth management formula is. And then the last part is the relationship management. And that's what is the process, right? How do we interact with clients? But then it's also what we call the professional network. So the professional network is these clients have or may have estate attorneys, a business attorney, personal attorney, an insurance advisor, investment advisor, I mean, you name it, right? And they're trying to manage all of these together. Again, going back to with your business and all that, and the family and all that. So we try and put ourselves in the middle to manage that professional network, right? So as if it's a wheel that flows well. And if that means working with the client's existing professional advisor, because they have the capacity or the skills to, because we find that oftentimes these business owners have grown their wealth and their buddy that they used as a CPA that they went to college with, even though they might be a good person, they just don't have the capacity and haven't grown with the client. So if they have, great, we will work directly with them to make sure they understand the full picture. But if they don't, we have professionals locally that we would work with that we would recommend and say this person is good, and the client goes out and sees if that's the one they want to deal with, and if it does, we will deal with that professional directly to make sure they understand all the aspects of the finances.
Are you thinking of selling your home?
With our exclusive Elevate package, we combine over 50 years of experience, cutting-edge data analytics, our unique marketing strategies, and our extensive network to help your home rise above the rest,
while maximizing your sales price and minimizing the time on the market.
So contact the David Dale team today to learn more. Is there any friction in that? Because I can only imagine that you got to really be probably very skilled. You know what I mean? Because we actually just had a client in Sun City, and as a matter of fact, they sold their business. They had a very large business they sold, and but their CPA, who'd been with them for years, was the intermediary who basically handled everything. And I thought to myself, like, boy, that feels like it could be, you could be leaving something on the table, no offense to her, but, just to be like, she's a CPA, you know what I mean? And they did very well for themselves. So how do you do that? What does that look like for the client? Because I'm sure they're loyal, they got friends, how's that process work?
It's education.
Okay.
Right? The client needs to understand, and we don't push them to not use the professional, especially if they have a very good relationship.
That's probably going to, anybody listening, like, okay, good.
No way. Because we will work with anyone that has the competency or the ability to handle what the client needs, right? And we're not an expert in all of that. We are not CPAs. So
for sure.
We don't know everything about taxes. But we know enough so that we can work with those professionals when we make recommendations to clients. We will work with the professional to make sure that specifically works with the client. So if that person, that professional, doesn't have the capacity to do it, the client does recognize that. Maybe not right away, but over time they do recognize that without us pushing the issue.
Well, and especially if they're moving from a different state that has completely different income tax laws to South Carolina. That's important to be able to move and know that.
What we also find, by the way, is that the professional has the capacity and the ability, but they've never really interacted with the client about these specific things. So that's why they've never come up. Not because the CPA or the estate attorney doesn't know it. They just haven't had
not in
that.
their lane.
They just haven't had that ability or conversation. And it's not always the professional's fault. Sometimes it's the client. I mean, we don't always tell all the professionals we deal with because we might not realize that something's important. So it's our job to make sure that information is relayed. And oftentimes they have the ability to handle it.
See, what I'm hearing when you talk about this, how I envision this is it's sort of bringing a cohesive, congruent philosophy, strategy to, it's like having multiple business units in a corporation, but you're all pulling understanding with the global philosophy of this entity, which is this person's family, wealth, all that, and it's getting everybody on board so
On the same page.
Yeah, everybody, and that's you're sort of quarterbacking that, if you will, and being the visionary behind it. Would you say, is that a pretty accurate?
Yeah, listen, why do you think we deal with business owners? Because the way we run our business is the same philosophy. We want to make sure that within our office and offices that the culture is there.
Yeah.
And then you need to translate that back to the culture of the professionals that are dealing with that particular client. And that's different for each
because they've got all sorts of other clients too. You're not the only one, right?
Yeah,
so they can kind of get stuck in their sort of, this is how we do things.
Yeah.
And this is a very important, in my mind, a very important point that you're bringing up to say, well, look, yeah, that's great, but we need you to understand like where we're going with all this and how you fit in. So you're playing nice and everybody's doing, but it's to the benefit. I think it's awesome. I think it's a really good vision for what you guys are putting together.
I think it's amazing.
It is. Yeah, you got to see it. Well, we'll have to get her over because he started giving me a little presentation. I was getting sucked in. I was like, oh, I love it. Like,
What do you mean? I don't need the presentation.
because it's like it's so well, because we've tried to do similar things from. Real estate, mortgage, all that, because we understand there's so many insurance, so many things that touch our lives in this piece. And we've even developed a little boutique sort of thing where we tried to say, hey, look, it's not just buying a house, but you have all these other things you got to think about. So yours is on a much grander scale, but as we were going through it, I was like, oh, this is like so good,
Well, I mean, what would you say resonates the most with your clients when they go through the process?
Yeah.
That there is actually a process there. Because they're so used to it being a bit haphazard, right? Where they've done this piece or that piece, and the idea that it does all work together, and when it works,
can work together,
and then it's more efficient and more effective.
Yes.
And I think that's probably, if you want to talk about an aha moment, it's that aha moment where they feel as if what they were doing was okay, right?
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
But there could be better than okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they don't know that until they actually see it. How many times something happens or someone says something to you, and you go, oh, that's interesting. I knew it, but for some reason it clicks more now.
Yes.
And in some ways it's one of those moments where they've heard that it does integrate. They don't really know how, but when you can put it in a process and you can explain it in a manner that is understandable and not financial jargon and all that,
right.
There's that aha moment.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
there's so much value in that too, because we keep talking about wealth and all the material side of things, but the older I get, the farther down the journey, I've come to realize the most precious thing in life is peace.
Yes.
It is that sense of peace and tranquility within your soul because you've worked so hard. And the last thing you need to be doing is stressing, especially when you're here.
Exactly.
Like this
You shouldn't be stressing when you're here.
You're stressing here, you've got
So you don't have to
problems.
stress.
You need to
That's
call
why we
Thomas.
moved here, right?
We have a philosophy and it's simple and elegant, right? We want to make your financial life simple and elegant.
Oh,
Simple
you
and
need
elegant. I
You
like
need to
that.
trademark that. Hey, if you want your life to be simple and elegant, type 1 in the comments. And also, let me ask you a question out there. If you were listening or watching, do you currently have an integrated plan or one that's sort of
Segmented.
and pull apart?
Sure.
And we'd love to know about that. And get your philosophy on that. You want to go and dive into?
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about advanced planning.
Yeah, because we want to talk about that in a little more detail because you talk about, and here's the areas. We're talking tax strategies, wealth transfer, protection, charitable giving, preservation.
The 5
You
pillars.
sort of broke them down. What areas surprises the clients the most on the impact in these areas? Which one do you think kind of jumps out and says, whoa, that one?
Because every client is different, right?
Yeah.
There is no one, and I'm going to go back to the same answer I gave before in the sense that it's the idea that they're all there, right? Because everyone knows that you want to make sure that your assets are transferred to the ones you love and cost of it. But when they realize that there's a way to do it and a process to do it, and that it could be even more effective if you combine it with another part of your finances, that's probably more. There's no one particular, because some people come in and they want to just save on taxes. That is their focus.
Yeah.
Some people are very worried about transferring their wealth, right? They want to make sure because they have dealt with something in their life where someone's passed and the complexity of dealing with that was overwhelming, and they don't want that to happen for their family. Right? So it really varies per person, and also they want to make sure that their assets are protected, right? They don't realize that those could be taken pretty easily. So anyway, all of that, and some people are just more charitably inclined. and they want to make sure that's done well. So I think it's the idea that all of that is out there and that it's explained in a way is really the more of the.
So for people to relocate here, because we get a lot of relocation, is that does it matter by the state you live in that everything's set up, or is this sort of transcend? It's all federal. Like, hey, if you're
state always makes a difference, right? So without getting into specific details, since I'm not in a state attorney.
I got you. Yeah.
But to give an example to answer your question, you want to make sure if you're living in South Carolina that your estate plan and your trust is according to South Carolina rules. No. So the answer to your question is there are state rules, and that's just with the estate planning. There's a lot of federal stuff, but the idea is you want to get that local feel.
Okay, so if they've moved and they haven't done it, and they're here and you're listening, you're in South Carolina, this is something you got to think about.
You should start thinking about it. We find that anywhere between the second to third year is when clients decide, because maybe they're not so sure that they're going to stay. Because it's a new, I'm not 100% sure of the reason, but we're just throwing that out. But then after 2 to 3 years, you know you're going to love the place. All right, this is it. And I guess I'm an example, right? After the second year, So, and then I made all the plans to make sure everything was set up down here. And I think that's probably,
Is Dad still in Sun City?
He is.
Oh, awesome.
My theory, everyone's having too much fun those first couple years.
Yeah, that's true.
It is.
They don't want to think about that stuff.
I'm just
then you're like, I got to deal with it.
I don't want to think about finances.
That's the last thing I want to think
You think I
about.
want to ruin my day? You want to talk to a guy about finances?
Yeah.
On the
Stick
beach.
me with a pin.
Right?
Exactly.
It's true. You're right.
So do you find people are more charitable? I mean, I know it's kind of a broad question, but do most people like to set up the charities and leave a legacy?
I do believe, and we do find that our clients want to leave a legacy. That legacy could be just internally within the family. Right? Some of that is outside. So we find in general, I can't say that they're more charitably inclined lately, but locally, people are charitably inclined in one way or another. That doesn't mean you have to be giving $10 million to a charity. You could be giving small amounts here and there. But they are very charitably inclined. They want to help the community. It's a community atmosphere, as we know, right? And that's what we all love about it. And they want to make sure that community is still thriving. And so they always, and sometimes that's not just financially they give back. They give back in other ways by being on boards or working with the town or volunteering. So we just find locally, and we get the same thing in New York, but locally we find that people want to help the community in whatever way they can.
And I ask that because I feel we've been in Charlotte, we've been in Columbus. I've never felt such a community as we have here, and obviously it's smaller, but there seems to be more of this heart to give back.
Oh, no doubt.
It's one of the things we love about the Lowcountry, and we tell people about all the time. There's plenty of ways to give back to the community if you want to.
Exactly. Not just financial.
Correct.
There's volunteering is a great way to give back to the community, and people do
all
that.
the time. I mean, even like Turtle Patrol, stuff like that. I mean, something as simple as that. Protecting.
And it's also built into the lifestyle in some ways, because my kid goes to prep, and you have to have community service hours. I believe they do that in the high school as well, and other schools.
Do they? Yeah, community service. Okay.
They have like the best friends with like special needs and the Special Olympics. Like they have football players go with them. Like teach them sports.
See, that's great. That's
It is
building good humans.
I agree with you.
You got to be well-rounded, right?
Exactly.
It's not just always about money.
That's the philosophy of the Lowcountry. That's what, because when we did the show, because it was on the real estate Lowcountry, the lifestyle Lowcountry, and the philosophy Lowcountry, and everybody's like, what do you mean the philosophy Lowcountry? I'm like, it's just different.
Who are we? What is it about?
Exactly.
What do
When
we
you move
think
here,
about?
it really it's just embedded. It's part of it. It goes all the way back. So very much here. So did you want to ask something about? He already talked about some of this.
I asked about charity. You were right there.
Well, he actually kind of went into, we were going to talk about some of the relationship side, which I thought you did a great job of explaining. Now, we did see on the site, it says your virtual family office brings the Rockefeller-style family office model to today's client.
I want to hear all about that.
So what is that?
Yes.
So a family office, we'll start with explaining a family office.
Yeah.
People hear it, but they don't really understand what it is. So the family offices were started years ago with the Rockefellers and the JP Morgans and the Carnegies, where they had amassed so much wealth that they needed to have people working, the professionals that we talked about, working for them and the family. So they needed their own attorneys. They needed their own accounting departments. They needed their own bankers. They had to work for the family, right? So that was called the family office. So all of those people were working for the benefit of the family, right? And that's usually 500 million plus where it's cost effective. So we've taken that philosophy and we've called what is called a virtual family office.
Okay.
So that's where we work with the other professionals.
Got it.
To make sure that all of that is put together in one cohesive, congruent plan, right?
Okay.
Because all of those professionals and experts are working for that family, and they all understand what each one's doing. So if they're going to make a recommendation or do something for that family in that family office, they know what the attorney thinks about it, right?
Got it.
So if it's a tax thing, well, the attorney's got to understand that, and vice versa. So there's all of that put together.
Okay.
So we've taken that concept and created what we call a virtual family office with technology today, and we believe a lot in technology because it's about the experience for the client. With that, we've taken the virtual family office philosophy and be able to use technology and integrate all the professionals to make
Break
sure.
that down though. Because technology has changed everything about life and continues changing everything. What kind of technology are you talking about, and how does it?
Let's start from the most basic.
Okay.
Zoom.
Yeah.
So let's say the client has a business attorney that they've used for many years. So maybe they live here, but their business is. So I have a friend who had a business in Michigan.
Yep.
Lived here.
Boo,
Right? So there's a business attorney
Michigan,
there.
sorry. We don't say that's the name not to be mentioned here. I'm sorry.
We got to cut that one out.
Edit.
We're gonna put a big Buckeye every time he says Michigan. Brutus shows up. Okay. Sorry.
I meant Ohio State.
I digress.
So just being able to put that professional together with the other one, so even if it means getting the other professionals locally in the office and then having a Zoom, having the other professional there, that's simple. But also being able to use the proper planning software that the other professionals, if the client will allow, can access that.
I was going to ask, is that everyone sees that?
If the client will allow, obviously, sometimes they don't want them to see everything. We try and make sure they do, but that's up to the client. So if the client wants access to that, then we'll give it. And then it's the rest of the technology that goes along with it. So it starts from the most simple, Zoom, to the more complex.
Because I was going to, speaking of, because we just did a podcast recently just talking about technology with AI, blockchain. I don't want to get into specifics, but like blockchain is a technology in which, these open ledgers and stuff, and you're going to have contracts and properties and businesses and all this stuff on that. Do you see that? How do you see that change in the industry? Is it?
Well, I'll tell you this. When I talk to my compliance department, they say, shut up.
Okay. That's fair enough. Sorry. I don't want to go there.
No. It's the finance industry is a very regulated industry. And at this point, they're not really
there
with the blockchain.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Yeah, because you feel it, but in AI, I just wonder where things are going. But obviously we will not go there because we do not want to get in trouble, and we do not want to get Thomas in trouble. So hands off on that one. What were you going to say?
I think you've kind of answered this, but I'm going to ask you, can you share how clients respond once they see everything when it comes together? Obviously, we talked about reducing
some
stress.
Success stories.
Yeah. Do you have any success stories to share with us?
Yeah, there's a recent client that we just brought on board who asked a lot of questions and felt very stressed, right, on all that situation.
Yeah.
And we would explain everything, we go through everything, and now we've gotten to the point where she sees that there's a process.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now she comes in with pictures. She had won an award. I don't know if you remember, Dan, the one that she won, an award showing in school when she was in high school about finances. And she came in and said, "See, look, I know what I'm doing. I know from high school." From high school. So she was going through her old stuff somehow and came across it. So the point is that she felt comfortable, right, and relaxed to now bring that in, and that's more of a personal thing to talk about. So that we find that a lot, that the relaxing nature comes in rather than the stress. So, you find out you're going, like I said earlier, someone wants to talk about finances, stick me with a pin, right?
Yeah, amen.
I'd rather get stuck with a pin for 5 minutes than that. But then they realize that it's not so complex, that it can be simplified, that there can be a process, and then the relaxed nature is what shows us that we're doing the right thing.
This is why you belonged in the Lowcountry, the relaxed nature.
Yeah. Well, and tie back too, because you have offices in New York.
Yes.
Okay, so how does that work with here and there, and sort of the influence, and is there a difference in the way they approach it versus how you approach it?
Yeah, so the firm Alliance Global Partners has 250 advisors, right? We are Alliance Global Partners of the Lowcountry, which means we're a specific office. So we have our own philosophy and so forth. I happen to also be the head of wealth management for the overall firm. Okay. So we do try and help other advisors with the same process.
Okay.
But they have different types of clients and whatever works for them.
Okay.
So that is more the New York office, and we have offices in Florida, and we have offices in Michigan, I believe, and all over. So each philosophy would be different, but the ideas about helping clients is all the same. Right? It's about serving your clients.
Yeah.
However that method is that you handle, that your clients want, that could be different per advisor.
Okay.
But
do you find that vast network helps you here? So, I mean, it helps your client, right?
Oh,
Clients.
100%.
Yeah, because they've got access.
When you interact, like I don't know everything.
Right.
Right?
Well, wait a minute, that's surprising. Sorry.
I tell my
Daniel?
wife that. She'll be surprised to hear
It's
that.
on record. We'll give her a
I sort of feel like I know everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, look, I was just in New York at some conferences, right? And you hear things, you interact with other advisors that maybe are doing things a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, this business, because people are constantly evolving, this business is evolving.
Yeah.
So if you're doing the same thing today that you were doing as a wealth manager, financial advisor 10 years ago, you're probably doing something wrong.
We feel the same way about real estate.
I was just going to say,
Like,
it's exactly the same.
And unfortunately, you don't have that. I mean, you have a lot of people that are still approaching real estate like it's 1990.
Yeah.
You know, might as well put on the old gold jacket of Century 21. No offense, but yeah, I feel like that applies across the board. Like if it's all moving so fast that you do have to.
You've got to keep up with it.
Yeah. And if you're not, then maybe you could survive for a while, but you're not going to thrive, right? And what we're looking to do is build a practice.
Yeah.
We want to, eventually have an office in Bluffton and have other offices all around the Lowcountry, and we want to build an enterprise where clients can benefit from that because we'll have clients that do certain things that can help other clients. We want to create that community so that just like we're living in a community, we want our client base to be a community as well.
You know what's interesting too, because I almost feel like you are uniquely positioned, because I don't know what it is, but it seems to me like in the Lowcountry, it's like, because we don't have big industry, we're not Charlotte, there's not major corporate, so many business owners.
Yeah.
Like everybody owns a business. It's crazy. I mean, would you say?
I agree. And why we love that is because we're business owners as well.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we understand what they're going through. We understand the stresses and all that stuff. But yes, that's why we have been known to help business owners.
Yeah, there it is. So all you Bluffton folks, all you Hilton Head, all you Lowcountry folks, give these guys a call. You need help, right?
Well, I wanted to ask a couple shorter questions on some strategic planning themes. So if we talk a little bit about tax mitigation, right? Just a little snippet for people out there. Do you help your clients anticipate and minimize taxes before they become an issue?
Well, yeah.
That was kind of stupid, right? That was your question.
My question, I came up with a question.
Oh, your fault.
Sorry.
I'm like, as I'm reading it, I'm like,
But
to be fair to you, though, there are a decent amount of situations. Look, people will go when there's a problem, right?
Yeah.
When they feel that there isn't a problem, they feel that they don't.
It's like the doctor.
Yeah. So, so a lot of times we have to help unwind. So we don't do it all ourselves. Again, we are not CPAs, right? We don't do tax returns, but we know how to read tax returns. We understand what can affect your taxes, so we'll work with the CPA to do that. And sometimes it's unraveling something they've done on their own that they haven't even really explained to the CPA.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you helping me out there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I really do.
I set you up with that. That's my bad. I'll follow the sword
I will
for
take
you.
one of
Typical
yours.
husband.
Take this one right here. Take that one.
No,
I
I'm
want to know
taking
about
this
one.
easy one.
All right.
Why should clients start estate planning early? That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great one. Because when it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? So if you start early, first of all, you get it into your philosophy, right? And you should redo it. And I know people will say, well, I'm 50 years old. Why do I have to do an estate plan now?
Yeah.
Well, because anything could happen.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that's all in place, and then you can update it 5 years later, right?
Yeah.
But you want to start early, just like anything in life. If you would have started investing X, you hear that term.
Oh my gosh.
If you would have started investing X amount when you were, what would it be worth?
Compounding,
Put that, extrapolate that to estate planning, right?
Yeah.
How can you make sure that your assets are transferred effectively and efficiently? And if you're in the position where there could be an estate tax, you want to either eliminate that, which is very hard, or minimize it, or find ways that extra estate tax they might have to pay doesn't burden the family that's getting the money. Right?
Yeah.
So you want to start that early, and then it'll evolve over time. And then what we find out, sorry to keep jumping in, is that
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Go, Thomas, go.
Is that when they started early, it becomes part of their thought process.
Yeah.
And then when something happens in their life, they recognize, oh, I should really be talking to someone about this, rather than not recognizing that this could be something that needs to be considered in the estate plan.
Yeah.
So when you start early, it becomes part of your philosophy.
I think that's I think that's huge. I wanna park on
What is early? Like,
It's different.
beginning.
could be,
Put it this way, if you're an entrepreneur who's 45 years old and has a business worth $40 million, 45 at that point is too late.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say too late, it should have been done earlier.
have been done.
So it's different per person,
Yeah.
right? That's a hard question.
it's situations.
I think if the core philosophy, you hit it on the head, is look, you're starting off as a business, usually you're just trying to survive, pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
Acquire clients. But what I hear you saying is, it's in your mindset, like, hey, if I'm going to start a business, you're starting a business because you want to be successful. You may not believe you're going to be successful, but you want to be. So if you want to be successful, then you have to say, all right, well, there's going to be some trigger or some moment where I need to make sure that I'm at least getting the basics in place, and it has to be at the forefront. That's what you're essentially saying.
Definitely.
Is at the very beginning, know that these are going to be issues, and if I'm going to be successful, I need to do it now.
And then recognize if something occurs. So let's say they want to sell their business in 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a conversation to have with your wealth manager, estate advisor, whoever it may be, because there might be ways to do that, which is a more effective way than just 5 years from now just selling the business.
Right. Yeah, I heard when the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs died, Hunt or whatever his name was, that his kids were almost going to have to sell the team, because they couldn't absorb the and I thought to myself, how did you not? I mean, they almost lost. I mean, he's was one of the main core guys in the NFL. Almost lost his team. Because of
He didn't have a Thomas Dowling.
That's because it's an illiquid asset.
He wasn't around 1969.
A little bit later. Not too far.
Just saying. So I saw this phrase. I don't know where it came from, but elaborate on the term professional trustee services, and what are those?
To be a trustee, and again, without getting into specific details.
Yeah.
To be a trustee, there's responsibilities. Okay. And the person who is taking those responsibilities needs to understand what needs to be done. And sometimes it's better to hire a bank or a separate person who's not related to the family.
Okay.
So
it's an entity. Or is it a person in the entity?
Both.
Okay, it's both.
It's usually an entity that employs people.
I got it. Okay.
To do that.
And so they do that on behalf of the family, so you're not having a mom, dad, whoever it was. Okay.
And it's usually, if you're at a much higher wealth status, you would do that because the assets are much more complex, and you might want someone else handling that than.
Plus, you don't want the greedy Uncle Joe. No offense.
And they pop up.
Yeah, they do, out of the woodworks.
Right. And I'm actually going to go back to your estate planning question, right? I just recently had a friend of mine who passed away, right? And he had done his stuff, right? He had trust, and he's not a client, he's just a friend. He set up his trust, he had all that stuff put together. And then he was going through a divorce, and it was almost done. And the one thing he didn't change was the executor of his will.
Oh no.
So, and by the way, it was a very contentious
And it was the ex.
It's the ex.
Oh, no.
So now the sister, who's the one in the trust and is named on a lot of other things, has to deal with the ex because she's the executor of the estate, and there's things within there that she deals with. So now they have to try and work together, which, by the way, is not going to happen.
Not going to work.
So he tried, and this is, I guess you can say, doing it early or just making sure you know, he didn't think about that.
Yeah.
He didn't think about, he made sure that the trust was changed. He made sure that the insurance policies, the right beneficiaries, he did all that, but he didn't change the executor of the estate.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you need a team.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
A virtual office, team office.
Now, if he would have mentioned to me, I would have said, hey,
Yeah.
you got to do this.
Family office.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right.
All right, so we're almost through here, so I want to touch on the second opinion service, right? So you offer a complimentary second opinion service for friends, family, and colleagues. So talk to us about that and why people should think about that.
We've found, especially during COVID, we're getting a lot of questions from clients.
Okay.
Whether their family member or friend was being taken care of properly, right? And we decided to offer this complimentary second opinion service for the people they care about. So what we essentially do is it's similar to the process that we do with a new client that comes on board, is we have our initial call where we ask some questions to make sure that we can help them.
Okay.
Right? And if we can, then we do a discovery meeting, so we ask them a lot of questions. And then the next meeting would be giving them solutions to some of those gaps that we see. Right? And sometimes, by the way, in that complimentary service, they're in great shape.
Yeah.
Their people have done a great job. And hey, listen, good for you. You're one of the few. Congratulations. If you need anything, call us in the future.
Got it.
If we feel that they have gaps, but we can't help them because of whatever reason, we know other people that we can refer them to.
Okay.
Or if they fit, then we can take them on as a client and start to fill those gaps. Okay. And that's what we've done with the complimentary second opinion service.
Okay, I like that. Did you have something?
No, I'm good.
So I want to switch. We're going to now get to you.
Uh-oh.
All right?
No, we're gonna shut it off now.
No. We're gonna do some rapid fire. We're gonna do a couple things. So you've served on boards. We want to talk about the Lowcountry lifestyle because you've obviously fallen in love with it. You're here, and that's what we want to. So a lot of folks, part of the real estate side, they do their big homework. You know, they're especially the retirees. They're kind of like, where do I go? And they're looking everywhere up around the coast. You know, the southern states. So that's why we want to talk about this segment. So. For you, what makes this place so special, and what do you love about it?
Well, I love working in the community I live in.
Okay.
Because you can see in a non-office environment the people that you're serving and helping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And that it creates that relationship. So I love that community. I didn't get that in New York because it was commuting to the city. There wasn't that community atmosphere. I love that, right? And so you're able to see and create relationships with people that first came to you and didn't know you, trusted you with their money, and now they consider you a friend and vice versa.
Yeah.
Going out to dinner with them, seeing them at the grocery store and not avoiding them.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't make me say bring that up.
Not avoiding them.
Do you find that because I don't know what it is. We've lived in a lot of places, and we've always known a lot of people. We've always had a big network, but there was something about here we both would agree that it feels deeper.
Yeah.
Like the relationships.
Especially when those around you realize that you're staying.
Yes.
That's a real
key
thing.
right
And we
there.
have a homegrown over here off camera. He'd probably agree with that, right? Because we've noticed that actually Billy Schilling, who you know, he was one of our clients. Remember we were a guest.
Yes, yeah.
He was actually like our first guest. And he's been here his whole life. His grandfather built Skull Creek Boathouse, right? And the restaurant.
So he's got a history here.
Oh,
Deep
yeah,
roots.
like deep roots. And he's a quiet guy. He's a really just an awesome guy. Like just soul to the earth guy. But he even said, we'd been friends now for years playing baseball together. And then even last year he said, I was still sussing you out.
Yeah, still. Still.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sort of like you're on the outer ring here. You know.
Because even though we do have a community, we have people that move in and move out.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And as people, we only have a certain amount of capacity. Maybe just me because I'm a simple guy, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I have a certain amount of capacity,
Yeah.
which I want to make sure that that capacity that I have is on those that I care about and that the relationships. So you can't have a relationship with everyone. So you want to make sure that they're going to stay.
Yeah.
And I think it becomes it's no longer conscious. It becomes unconscious.
Yeah.
Where you do
agree.
that.
Yeah.
But I find that, and what made me realize that is I have friends that live in Florida, and in Florida, you actually, for him, or maybe in the area he is, he's been there for many years. But because there's so many people that come and go, it's hard for him to find that community.
Yeah.
Here, there aren't as many people that leave. When you come here, you stay.
Yeah.
In a decent amount of cases, but there are still people that leave.
Yeah.
You create, once you know they're staying, you create that community.
Yeah, we actually get a lot of those New Yorkers who go to Florida. We call them halfbackers.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, they
come back here.
Yeah.
And then, because that's one of the complaints. They're all, and we always tell them, they're all looking for community and connection. You know, and that's what we always try to encourage. Actually, we do a thing where we take them out. We call it cross-pollination, or we'll invite different clients onto the boat together and kind of smash them together. You know,
that's great. It's creating a community.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and I think I resonate exactly with what you were saying about building that relationship and they become friends. You go to dinner. We were just saying the other day, we don't have enough time in the day for the amount of people that want to hang out with us. And I'm not for that to sound bad at all. That's not intended. It's we want to.
Yeah.
We just don't have the capacity
course.
to.
Yeah.
And so that's why we love
But there's so many, like in, even in
Yeah.
Charlotte, you didn't feel like you had the people to do it, but here you
exactly,
feel like,
you
gosh,
do.
there's so many people I want to get to know more. 'Cause, you know, it's, I don't know, there's something about it. All right, let's break down.
So I do have
Okay.
a question for you. So if you had the perfect Lowcountry weekend,
like
no phone, no work, what would that look like?
Well, personally, I love working, but I get your
Can we get off the work?
Get that
but all right, so I'll go along with you on the question.
Go along with
No,
me.
you know what though? I sort of identify because we tend to like work all the time.
we do.
Yeah, but I enjoy the process of working, right? I enjoy the accomplishing goals and all that stuff. But to answer your question, for me, it would be get up in the morning, going to the gym. So let's say it's a Saturday, going to the gym, coming back home, going to the beach with the family, or going to play golf with my wife is playing golf. My younger one likes to play, and when my older son is
Where's your
we
go-to golf course?
Yeah.
With them, we go to Shipyard because it's close.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And they're just, especially my wife is just learning, so we want to keep it 9 holes and we keep it short.
Yeah.
But then after that, going back, eating dinner and watching football.
College
football.
All right, who's your college team?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Sorry, we put the beat down on you. Sorry. I'm just kidding.
The Northeast.
Sorry about that.
No, listen.
Did you
Not
know?
passionate at all.
Did you know the head coach of Hilton Head High is his best friend's the coach of Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
They're like,
Well, there's a player.
Yes.
BJ. Yeah, Coach
Okay,
Payne.
Coach
Well, there's a player on Notre Dame.
he is.
Sneed. Yeah.
Yep, Sneed.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Yankees or Mets?
If I had to choose, Yankees.
Okay.
I'm not
a baseball guy?
I'm not a big pro sports fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm more, I like the college.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, it's the Yankees because my youngest son is a huge Yankee fan. My older one is also.
Okay.
And my father-in-law is a huge Yankee fan. So we tend to watch the Yankee games.
Okay.
So
So
if I
are
had
you
to
Notre
choose-
Dame all the way through?
No. In basketball, it's Villanova now. My
Villanova.
son goes to Villanova.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I remember when Raleigh Massimino was there and they were super good. Remember those? You probably are much younger, yeah. So.
I'm much, but a little bit.
Are they good?
They are not.
Okay.
Because they lost their coach. He left.
Yeah.
And they had a new coach who they just fired. So the new, he was there for 3 years. They fired him. Now they got the coach from Maryland.
Okay.
So there is more excitement again about the basketball program.
All right. So Notre Dame.
So I'm going to take you gentlemen off of sports. So
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, poor
Yeah.
viewers.
Sorry.
No. Favorite restaurant? Where would you go?
I like, well, first of all, I go wherever my wife tells me to go.
Smart man.
Good.
Very smart man.
She's not watching, so tell us where you go. Okay?
I
I'm just
told
kidding.
you I want to
She
hang
better
out
be
with
watching.
I'm going to make her watch it now.
She might be our only one watching. You
She
know?
might not get past the first 2 minutes. Anyway, so she wouldn't even get this.
We'll give her a short.
It's specific dishes, right? So
Yeah.
there's a dish of pomodori that I like.
Ooh, pomodori. That sounds good tonight.
Pomodori is an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
There's two. There's
On the
one in
south.
Bluffton and one in Hilton Head. Yeah, on the south end.
And then I guess the others are basics. We like char bar. That's another
Okay.
one
Yes.
for a burger.
I almost died at Chard Bar.
Don't go there. I knew that was coming. It's being recorded. Sorry, Search
Oh, sorry,
Group.
Chard Bar.
Sorry, Search Group.
See, I'm trying to give a little kudos.
We'll edit. No, I'm just teasing.
See why as a wife to keep him.
I won't.
I'm
tell
the
them.
ops manager.
I won't tell them.
Yeah. You're the one that gets things done.
Exactly. You know it. So, no, that's great. What about seafood? If you would go for seafood.
Sushi.
Sushi.
Yeah.
Which sushi
Oh
restaurant?
yeah, this is a big one.
Well, just because it's easy and simple, I go to Asian Bistro and take it home. 'Cause
Okay.
My wife doesn't like sushi, which
Okay.
means we don't go to a lot of sushi places. If we do, we might go to, Hinoki?
Hinoki. That's
Oh,
what
yes.
I was
Sushi gets
hoping.
it, yeah.
Favorite.
Daniel's nodding his head.
I have
off camera.
heard, since you're from New York, we have the roots there, I've heard the sushi from Hinoki is better than some of the sushi in New York. It rivals it.
I don't
No?
know if I'd go that far, but,
Okay.
but it is very
Remember, he is from New York.
Come on,
Just don't go there.
Those are my roots.
I've had two bad questions today. I'm
No,
not
that's
How about
doing
this?
good.
Let's say it's equal.
Okay, all right.
I like it.
That's
Diplomatic.
nice.
That's
I like
really
that
good.
diplomatic.
It's diplomatic.
You've been trained very
Oh,
well.
I've been married for quite a while. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite beach to go to?
The one right down the block. We live in Sea Pines, so we're
Okay.
right down the block.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Have you always lived in Sea Pines then?
No, when we
Since you've been-
first moved here, when it was going to be temporary, we lived in North Forest Beach.
Okay.
So we bought a house there, expected that we were going to spend a year fixing it up a little bit, and
Yeah.
then go back to New York and rent it out.
Yeah.
And then when we finally realized it was going to be permanent, then we built a house in Sea Pines.
I bet you wish you would have kept that North Forest Beach house.
I did. It's being rented now.
Oh, man, you see,
we
he's
built this-
And
financial.
you got to have the financial vision there, my friend. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's why we have it.
That's right.
And we built the house in Sea Pines in 16, 17 before all the costs went up.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, Sea Pines, man, that is like some prime over there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's such a beautiful plantation.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
So, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Our
they've got-
website was agplowcountry.com.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put that on the screen
Yep,
too.
please.
AGP Lowcountry for those listening.
Yes.
And they just
On there, you can see we have an email address. They can contact us on the website. That's the best way, because then they get all the information as well.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, if they're not here and they happen to see this somewhere else and they're interested,
Yeah.
do you service other areas other than the Lowcountry?
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, because you're a big network, so
Yeah, and also, look, there are certain things that you want locally, and there's
Right.
certain things that you can do outside. So we have some clients in Texas, because look, people move, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You live in New York, I'm here because I moved.
Yeah.
So clients move to other states, and you get referrals and
Yeah.
so forth. So we have it really all over.
okay, and you can do virtual and all that too. Yeah,
I was actually doing virtual or Zoom before Zoom was Zoom.
Zoom.
really.
Because when I first moved down here, I was doing Zoom calls.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because you were going back and forth.
So I
Yeah.
was a little advanced on the whole technology thing, which we try and do.
There you go.
But then when the COVID happened and everyone was doing Zoom, I had so many people say, "Oh, this is Zoom." Yeah,
Yes.
you were using Zoom beforehand.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I will admit, for some clients, it was a little harder for them to get to understand how to use the Zoom in
Yes.
those days.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how they get it
Yeah.
more. So
There's
there was a
nothing
little
better
more
when
of
you
that.
see them trying to like click and figure it out.
Look at how like this, you see them. Or you can't see them at all. I don't know why I can't see it.
And you just want to help them. You're like, oh, I wish I could just go through it.
All right, you too.
So anyway, all right. Well, listen, it has been an absolute pleasure having you, and
appreciate
we'd
it.
love to have you back on too down the road. Is it's so funny because I know you sort of narrow what you're with compliance and all that. But if there's anything down the road that you think would be relevant, topical that you'd be able to touch on, get a hold of us. We'd love to share it because we are all about disseminating this and helping people in the Lowcountry connect and grow and
Yeah. And if you have questions, ask, and that could lead into, hey, this can be a nice session or podcast that we can have.
absolutely. Yeah.
So we're happy to answer whatever questions.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Well,
Thank
you're
you.
gonna have to bring. I hear you got another guy in the office. So maybe he'll come on too. You never know.
Maybe we'll come on this side.
If you start losing viewers because of me, then we'll have him
Bring
come on.
I'm trying to save the show by throwing in Daniel. Okay. All right. Let's do that. Listen,
Well, thank
Thomas.
you again.
Thank you
We
for
really
being on the
appreciate
guest.
it.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe to Real Talk Hilton Head and leave us a review to help others discover the Lowcountry lifestyle.